We're back after a much-needed break. Punta Preta's still here as well. We're in the transition here. This final's about to start. It's almost game on here. In this final, because those are the 4 sailors who have qualified for the final of the 2022 SOMWR Cabo Verde PWA World Cup. Again, no sail stickers and no polyester type jerseys. We were using cotton. We're trying to be earthly friendly. A lot of the sailors, not in any sort of rebellious way, have also done away with the use of their sponsor stickers. We're starting to get a little more plastic conscious here. Music to my ears. Beautiful gesture. I'm sure the sponsors are okay with it. We can see what gear the guy's using. Fantastic. 30 seconds to go before the start of this heat. The free sailors are out of there. They're not even going to pretend that they're in this final. No dice. 4 sailors only. And each and every single one of them has earned the right to be here. And I would agree that if you were to pick the 4 best sailors, I'd pick these 4 right now. And there are a few right behind them. Angulo might be sorely missed from this final, and it's just been Angulo and Sayati as the winner in Cabo Verde. But for this single elimination, at the very least, it looks like we are going to crown either Traversa, Roediger, Martin, or Browne. There's your bracket. You can see the road these sailors have taken to get to the final. Sun's getting a little lower. There have been some nice sets. You don't see them yet, and the second you see them, they're going to be ridden by our very, very hungry finalists. But this 1-hour final is on, and as if it was planned, there is a major set breaking here. Here comes the first exchange less than 30 seconds into this final, and it's the best wave I've seen in the last hour here. Toma Traversa shoots for the sky and falls down, and he's going to be in big trouble because there's a bigger wave outside. And here's Marcilio Browne. Huge bottom turn under the lip. Couldn't have timed this better. He's going all the way down the line on this. Brauzinho's going to have a death grip on this wave. Here goes Brauzinho heading in. Antoine Martin is behind him, but we'll stick with Brauzinho for now. Antoine Martin's about to blast something. He does significant air right there. You saw it. We have to pan him just to get to the more action there, but he's going to get shut down by this and not going to make it past the section. Here goes Bernd Roediger. Beautiful aerial from Roediger, finishing up his ride on the inside with the full head of steam. This is where the magic happens. Full-blown talker rotation doesn't quite make it. He was forcing that one a little bit. He knew he had it, and he knew he was going to finish with the bang. And all kinds of people are here now. People know it's the final. It's fully game on. The conditions turned on the second we started that final. It just turned on. And what I see up the coast is a fair amount of cloud, and it's looking like our conditions are going to come together here. That first exchange was fantastic. It's really good to see a set right off the bat. Let's get a replay of Brauzinho's ride if we get the chance. Antoine Martin as well. Huge aerial antics there to start off. Traversa, unfortunately, He kind of blew his first hit, but this is classic Punta Preta. Look at the airtime from Browne. Unreal. Unreal. Browne milking it all the way through here on this ride. Didn't quit, knew he was on a good wave, felt so good to catch something right off the bat. He believes in himself. I can tell you that. Any person who's won a world title had better believe in themselves. And he wants another one. And there is no better way for him to start that than here. Here comes Antoine Martin's first ride. Full head of steam, projection air into closeout, unfortunately. That was not have been an advisable lip to hit there. There's no action, so let's pick apart these rides a little bit more. I'd love to see Roediger's ride. Here we go. Smaller wave, heavy amplitude. Length of ride is in there. And he's obviously gunning it to be able to run this move right here, which didn't quite come to fruition. Puts him ahead of Traversa at the very least, but I think that you're going to find your first rider is Marcilio Browne with a 7.06. Roediger in second with a 4.56. Martin, not really rewarded, I guess, for a big aerial that he didn't make. And the rotational move that Roediger put at the end of his ride versus basically a one aerial wave to Martin is the difference in this. Interpretable in many different ways. And I think what you're hearing from the judges in this is that once again, according to Duncan, he's going to reward the vertical approach to wave riding and critical positioning and hitting. And Martin did all of that, but he did do that kind of horizontal aerial. That's just not going to be promoted as much as vertical wave riding. So there you go. And Roediger, and to that credit, also streaked down the line, but he tried that Taka and didn't quite make it. And had a little bit going before we saw that clip of him. So there's more to it than just that. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Punta Preta. We are enjoying the final here at the 2022 SOMWR PWA Cabo Verde World Cup. The first event of this Wave Tour season. Here comes Browne with his second ride. Is he rolling into the dream final here? Traversa's behind him. Unfortunately, Browne's plans just went on hold as he's on the rocks. Here's Tomas Traversa on the best wave of his heat so far. One of the best waves of his event. That was a super aggressive hit. Outside of him is Bent Roediger. Traversa goes down straight to Roediger. There goes Roediger. First hit. Beautiful ride for Roediger. This is a pivotal moment in this heat and this contest and this career of this stellar sailor. This wave is lining up all the way across the wall. Maybe one of the better waves Roediger's had during this event. Bats the lip, gets under it. Further riding there. He is not done, folks. He's going to jet ahead of this thing. Keep it on Roediger. One more turn deserves another. Gets hung up there a little. He's far from done. Barrel section coming through here. Antoine Martin shoots to the moon. Last rider in this exchange. Huge amplitude from Martin. This is going down, ladies and gentlemen. This is finals worthy. This is the product that we wanted. No doubt about it. Punta Preta unlock. Antoine unlocks the Taka. Unlocks it. Kind of a flocka Taka. Woo! Browne looks in dismay and rightfully just waits right on the front part of the rocks. He's in a bad spot. It needs to be completely flat for his door to open. It's not. There's a little set to the outside of him. He seriously can't afford to go to the shore break, but he can't afford to make a mistake here. This is a gripping moment for him. When does he toss his rig into the water? He does it now. But he's not going to step on his board and risk his fins, huh? He's going to swim mildly. I think he can pull it. It's the worst part to be on the rocks. This is really hard to watch, but he's also, if he pulls this off, going to be right in the middle of the peak. Something went wrong there on Browne's ride. Oh. Okay, he's clean. That was a gutsy water start. And Roediger, who just went to town on one of the nicest waves of his trip right now. Here's Roediger's wave. Fade line really punched that bottom turn. This is a beautiful wave. What a joy to just watch this level of riding. The wave and the rider. I think a lot of people out there just look at this wave and go, they can't believe there's a wave that's windsurfable that's like this. Roediger actually cut some serious rug on that carve and had to slow down for his bottom turn because look as the wave went fat there. This is Antoine's wave. And he really got something here. Boom. Martin knows he's in a battle. And he knows how to rise to the occasion. He's won the Aloha Classic too. Incredible. Look at that. You have to honor that. That was a little bit unwise, certainly a little bit more like a Flocka Taka, but man, right on the part of the wave where you just did it like it was nothing. Spectacular level of riding on display here at the 2022 SOMWR PWA Cabo Verde World Cup. Flycatcher bringing it to you live. We got a couple of requests for some guests here in the booth. We'll see if they show up. We're looking good so far. This is definitely enough action for me to be able to bring it to you live here for the PWA. Thanks for the gig again. Brauzinho, determination pays off. Cabo Verde has definitely listened to his request for leniency to get off the rocks. His quandary is over, but he didn't quite get that wave, and that didn't really matter. That wasn't that good of a wave. Oh, man. Brauzinho got out of a pickle there, but he was in a position, I felt, to really put a stamp down on this heat. And we can go back to the replay of what happened to Brauzinho if you want and start replaying some rides. We've got a little bit of an in-between. And this also might be a good time to go to commercial since we need to do that. Yeah, we're going to break to commercial. Be right back. Okay, we're done with that attempt at a commercial. There's somewhere get that message across. We'll get that in a second. We can't miss any of the final here. And that was an exchange that Brauzinho wanted. Antoine Martin's not going to get this wave. Brauzinho's probably got it. He sheets in, but the wind has gone back to the offshore pattern that foiled the attempt to do the semi earlier today. However, the scoring potential is on display. You just need to be a little bit more upwind where there is more wind. Here's Roediger. He's pumping up ahead of steam, but he doesn't get it either. I believe that Roediger's board doesn't have that flat of a rocker. Doesn't look like it's super planing, but man, it does look fast enough when it needs to be, and it does turn. Oh boy, does it turn. I see some darker water to the outside. I think there's definitely a set coming here, and now the tactical battle is going to start playing in. Unfortunately for Traversa, there's been a couple blow-ups already. I really wish those hadn't happened because it's so fun to watch him project off the lip, and it would really have turned this final into a much tighter affair. But right now he's sitting on a 1 and a 4.69. Martin's in fourth place with a 4.12. Might be another score dropping for him. Brauzinho, the destroyer, has an 8.06 heat total with a high score of 7, which is outstanding. And Bat Roediger, the samurai, has an 8.06 and a 4.56 for a heat total of 12.62 with 48 minutes to go. Brant's a little ahead of schedule on this heat. And that's nothing but danger for everybody else in this final. Because Brant can pick and choose. He's not going to run the lineup. But he darn well better find that wave he's looking for with this amount of time to back up that 8. And he's going to be hard to beat. But one of the people who can beat him right here is Marcilio Brauzinho Browne. And he is on a full head of steam down the point here. Not a dull moment so far in this final, luckily. We almost went to commercial, but that's when the set came. Boom! Big tweaked air. Brauzinho punched that thing. Best tweak in the business. Outstanding riding from Browne. He's heading all the way downtown, and he pulls the Taka. That was a goiter make. Makes it into the shore break. Judges have to consider it. Oh, man. Super heavy make. Browne took that wave, and he knew right at the end he wanted to rotate that. Let's take ourselves through that one. Browne high line with the speed. Swoops his bottom turn. Continues S-carving down the Punta Preta wall. A clean wave here. Punches it for the tweak. Judges note the tweak. Here comes the wide grip boom just to make the wave. Winds up his coil. And his, like, I'm going to do this. Oh, man. Full-blown goiter. Right into the pit. The goiter is that when you unwind the sail. That was a little more of a goiter than a talk-up. And there was air involved. That was beautiful. What a completely shredded wave from Browne. And here's the thing. Was it the biggest wave? No. Was it ridden to the criteria that the judges have been, and especially head judge Duncan Coombs, have been campaigning for that level of riding? All 4 riders are capable of those rotational tricks. That's gotten them here to some extent, some more than others. The person who wants to get back in the game right now is Antoine Traversa. Let's see the scores of this heat, please. Thank you. Keep them up, please. Okay, Browne, 12.45. Hasn't taken the lead, but it's a whisker away from Roediger. Martin's got a 10.13. Traversa stuck with a single score kind of situation, which actually might be the culmination of his 2 somewhat incomplete rides. Traversa has got a full heat ahead of him to just erase the first 15 minutes of this hour-long final. He can just reset and forget. Meanwhile, Roediger in a commanding position above Browne. And there is a small little exchange. We do need to, at some point in this final, go to commercial a few times. We want replays, but now's not the time. We've got some lower bulls setting up. Traversa's on one of them. What you're seeing is our 3 out of our 4 competitors are in the takeoff area, so to speak. That's Antoine Traversa inching into a really nice wave, and he's doing that right in front of Browne, who's sailing out. So here comes TT, setting up his line, forgetting about the last 2 waves. Punches his bottom turn full of confidence. That's the Antoine Traversa we all know and love. Huge aerial above the lip. Antoine Martin behind him. You're with Traversa right now. Traversa crisscrossing. Here's Antoine Martin's first aerial of that wave. Got to cut to him. Roediger's behind him, but Antoine's on the nice wave here. Shredding it. There's Antoine. Just a display of mastery here. Roediger's kicked out. Antoine finishes his ride. That's really going to help his campaign. He's just skying around here. Look at Punta Preta, even on that micro little level shore break thing. Such a fun wave to rip. Oh my gosh. There is first and second sailing in your screen as we watch the local Cape Verdeans having a good laugh at a historical moment at this iconic break. A break that is close to many people's hearts. I think we can afford to have a little commercial break for you from the people at SOMWR and Starboard. Thank you very much. We'll be right back. Okay, we got some live replays as the judges have a lot to consider for Traversa's wave. Thank you for bearing with us on the commercials. There'll be a few more. Traversa ripped this wave to pieces. Antoine as well with the full scale projection. And that's nothing compared to some of the years he's done while he's been here. The level of riding has never been higher. I've never seen anything like it. Knew it was coming, though, because I've been sailing a lot with these guys the last 2 years. And it only took coming to somewhere like Punta Preta to unleash the next level of the future of wave riding. 42 minutes left as we dissect Antoine Martin's wave and do our best to manifest this moment and bring more waves to ourselves. In the final here, Traversa tacks out of that opportunity. Battles get tight, but they don't get much tighter than this. And these 4 sailors are straight playas. There's world titles, and there's event wins at the highest level between the 4 of them. Incredible level of riding. I mean, it's not lost on me. And right now, if you had told all the people at that meeting at the end of last year when they decided that they had to put a little bit more of a priority on some real wave riding conditions, and this came up that let's go to Cabo Verde. Well, is this what they signed up for? And the answer is absolutely. I definitely heard some doubters about, the forecast. These people didn't doubt. They knew they just needed to show up to Punta Preta and say hi and bring their positive vibes into the area here. You just got to believe. Sometimes it doesn't take much, just the right direction swell for the long enough time. Giving Tomas Traversa a chance to get into this game. He knows how to play it. Tomas Traversa highline. Super late hit there. Climbing under the lip. Got rejected. It was the first wave of the set. You never do that. Browne skybound. Huge landing. You heard it from the tent. He landed so hard. Did he just buckle that board? He landed so hard. Multiple hit opportunity, and he is on the rocks here. Unfortunately for him, familiar territory, and maybe a long enough lull that we could both actually go back to highlights. And something has broken. And that's quite unfortunate. For Traversa. Browne just water started off the rocks, and he's done. He's out back into the lineup. That's how easy it is sometimes. This north action direction has left the door open for getting away with what we would consider getting away with murder out here at Punta Preta. Because believe me, you pay your dues here. There are heavy whitewaters that'll sweep you up and over the rocks. Traversa, unfortunately, doesn't have a choice. Can't fix a mast on the water. Precious time is being wasted. Traversa's really not had the best final here. And he'll tell you that sometimes it's just not your day. But let's take a little moment to see a clinic in getting off the rocks at Punta Preta. And, it's a little bit, strenuous. The clock's ticking. He doesn't have all day, but he does have time. It's not like he has to freak out. Just relax and take the sail off the board. And slowly pick up the pieces. Don't get any urchins. Make someone else get your rig. Run to your spare rig. He's like, I've got a spare rig. Just go get my sail. Thank you. Muttering something under his breath. But look at him. He's just laughing. Let's check some replays as Tomas gets his act together. Camille and the boys want to help him out. There's Pierre. Here comes Antoine Martin. Bingo. Huge error. I want to hear the landing on Browne. We need to go back to live. There's Browne. This is live. Sailed off the rocks and sailed into this wave. Bam! Tweak over the section. And I really wish he hadn't have done that because he's going back on the rocks now. I'm not laughing at him. It's just the futility of the situation. It's like, okay, now I'm not trying to get back on. That didn't need to happen. I don't even want to watch him wince because I don't want him to get hurt. Bad. Oh, no. Oh, man. Hurts to watch. It was a big tweak, and right in the middle of the air, the wind just quit on him. Nope, he's giving it a look, and it's like, does he have the door open? And I can tell from here that there are some obstacle sets coming in. This one's 50-50. He's going to make the water start launch, but he's got to do it right now if he does. He has no choice but try it right now because the door's about to shut. There's a wave coming in. Okay, Browne. Oh, man. Look at this. This is classic. This shows you the ordeal. He does not want to walk to the shore break. That's a lot of time off the clock here. But now he's got to jump in the water and fend. There's no stepping on the board in that situation. Yikes. And now no wind to water start with. Bad combination. Thomas and his crew are walking some broken gear around. This is a down moment in the final. I will say nothing left. We will watch for a second more for this ordeal, and then we'll go to replay, right? Okay, hang on with replay, though. Browne's still delicate. People get a lot out of watching this because you learn how you deal with Punta Preta. And everybody at home should know that if you want to come here to Cabo Verde and sail Punta Preta, you're going to probably have to go through this too. I'm just saying. Here's replay. Big gouge from Martin. That was massive. Oh. Full head of steam. Massive air projection. An absolute spray-throwing festival of shred from Antoine Martin on this wave that was a really important read for him. Here is live action with your heat leader, Roediger. And he's actually putting a, early effort here. This isn't a comeback at all. This is a nice little show of force here. Behind him, Antoine Martin, but don't blink if you missed it. Big hit from Antoine, who places his landing a little differently on the wave this time. A little bit more like, I'm not going on the rocks line. Make the wave line. Does the fade off the bottom. And look how that simple little body English of the fade, just a little bit into the head bob to rock dance. But it was amazing that really gave him the positioning on the wave. It's that inside rail fade. Wow. There's Brazinho's crew. Campello helping out. Team Brazil all the way. Venezuela, Brazil. He's on his horse. Brazinho's laughing. He's like, man, I just sailed off the rocks. I turned around. I did a tweak. I'm back on the rocks. Brazinho's walking a little slow. Gets on his horse and starts the jog. I was hoping he didn't have a heel full of urchins or anything. He looks like he's all right. Here goes Browne. Let's give him a hand. Seriously, everybody's applauding him. This is a huge effort just to get through this. And it's encouragement above all else. And you know what else it is the respect for the Brazilians and these people here, Cape Verde and Brazil. Everybody's on to Browne in one of the more classic moments I've seen in a contest here. Just keep running. It's like a triathlon. Wave sailing, swimming, and rock dancing. Here's Roediger on the outside. Gets his bottom turn and turns it into a little soul carve session. That was crazy. I think Bant on that bottom turn found the limit of how hard he can push his board. Now he knows. It was up until then he was like, I can push this thing as hard as I want. Let's elaborate a little bit about Roediger and Flika boards, a new sponsor for him. I believe they come from Slovenia. And I think that has really upped his game. Bant's ridden for a few different sponsors over the years, some more prominent than others. But what I think he's found right now with his hot sails and his Flika boards is something that's able to be a little more personalized. And you'll see it in the riding. Here we go. We got 3 replays for you. First is Roediger. Fade line, but look at that. He's able to stop-start that thing, which I guess might have been the reason not every wave he goes for gets caught, because it's turn on a dime, but it might not be that fast. Look at Martin with the projection he has. Board's a little gunnier, definitely a little faster. Maybe not as loose as Roediger, but in comparison, the drive. Antoine Martin sets his direction and commits to it and just goes through stuff like that. He's in finals mode. Everything for a point. That head bob made it. If it's half an extra point, it's worth it. And that was the bottom turn I was talking about. It was a bit of wave placement too, but at that point he was also staring at dry rock. As Traversa's back in the game here and entering the lineup. And Browne is not quite yet back in the game. I'm looking down at the cluster of trucks, and there are people walking around. There's a screwdriver somewhere there. What's going on? Okay, Browne is going to get going, but he's not out yet. Just tell you that much. Okay, Browne's out through the shore break. He will be in the lineup shortly. 31 minutes remain in this final. You know, going from humble beginnings to a 10-point heat total is Traversa. Watch out. This final is going to have a part 1 and a part 2 to it. And that might sound foreboding and it might not, depending on who you are. But as far as we're concerned, we just want to see a good heat sailed. And that means that all 4 competitors are in it and swinging away for the scores. And Browne gets back into the ring. Having taken what I would say is something akin to maybe stepping on his own foot a little bit there. And it happens from time to time. But he right there got a little overeager after he was off the rocks, like frantic, and just did that punt, and look what it cost him. He is now going to have a front row seat to an exchange. And this is an interesting situation because Roediger now lets Antoine Martin through. He's been so mellow on this. Traversa on the first wave of this set. Gouging bottom turn for double T. There's a little chatter on the wave, but he slices right through it. And that was vertical lip hit contact. Traversa over the shallow section as Antoine launches his first turn. Trying to get all the bases of the wave ride for you. One uncorked. Taka rotation. Didn't quite make it, though. Didn't get back into it. Here comes Roediger. Did he see it? Is he going to try his own version? He goes for the 3, just upside down, boned out. And I think that there's some sort of apparent wind angle here at Punta Preta that makes the 3 unlikely. And a 360 machine like Browne, I would think, would have it. There was Ayrton Cozzolino watching the final. And if you don't know who he is, you don't know nothing. The level of talent on this beach right now in terms of what all the water sports are, even in this judges tower. Look at Alex Mussolini, longtime tour follower, is now a judge. And that's instant legitimacy here. As we watch the replay, the same thing the judges are kind of doing, poring over this. Traversa behind the peak drew a perfect line on the bottom turn. Loving the style from Thomas. I am in awe of where windsurfing is today. I'm so proud to call myself a windsurfer, surfer, whatever you want to call it. This sport in particular has reinvented itself so many different times, and in the scheme of wave sailing, it's really benefited from all these other sports that have emerged. But I do feel in the wave sailing world, and especially in places like Punta Preta, that we're all aspiring to be surfers at heart. And all 4 of these finalists are great surfers, as well as windsurfers. Gotta mix it up with a healthy dose of surfing, and especially if you're going to translate your windsurf game to a point break, you're better off learning how to surf it first, almost. Learn the wave. Takes a while to learn Punta Preta, and you're watching it on display. Everybody back sitting at home watching this who wants to come here someday and mix it up, watch the replays on all these rides until you have it memorized, because you're seeing how it's done. Watch some of Josh Angulo's heats also, who just missed making this final by a whisker. And he will show you exactly where is where. Yeah, we've got a little time for a 20-second ad. We'll be right back. That's Traversa finishing up a ride. Thank you for your patience with that ad. It was probably a mid-level score that he picked off on the underside. We'll get a replay in a second. He rode it well. It might be a backup score for him. I think he's got a better score than that. It's not going to be a difference maker for him. He's boxed in fourth. Traversa's kind of had a lame final by his standards. He got on waves, though. And that's the part that I just kind of go, oh, man. He just blew up a couple turns, and the momentum meter just stalled for him. Quite unfortunately. Call me a huge fan of his riding. And he knows exactly what to do to get back into it. Get into a groove. 25:52 remaining here. At 4:25 in the afternoon here at Punta Preta. Tomás Traversa's at the main part of the peak with Browne pumping into the picture as well. Tomás is going to not be able to get this wave. He was just a little too offshore and ran fat on the inside. Browne is in. And he's in to win. And he is nipping on Brant Roediger's heels, and he is one big burst away from doing it. Opening hit, nice water displacement, perfect angle. He's reading this wave. That was a massive cutback with a lot of power and flow. He's not done. He's got a full head of steam here. He's up and winding. Is he going to get a rotation here? He thought about it, and he's still thinking about it. He's got time to think about it because this is now going into the floater section, and he is now going to take aim at something. Browne is automatic if he wants to be here. Here he comes. Big rotation. Didn't quite stick it. And Browne thinks to himself, for the thousands of takas and goiters that he's made, why didn't that one happen? Sail got ripped out of his hands. You saw the essence of that maneuver is that you rotate around, you flop around your rig a little bit. And we'll see exactly why that happened. That would have made a huge difference for him if he had made it. The judges might just have given him the juice on that. I think things are going to stay the same, but I'm not going to call numbers out. And look, Browne is not like a diminutive character. He works out. He's in good shape, and he's not. He's fairly well sized. He's not a heavy guy, so he's able to get the small wave, wizardry in there too. One of the very best at that aspect. This is what he was waiting to do, but that didn't really eventuate into a make there. And truth be told, they gave Roediger a really good, solid score for an attempt. And it would be justifiable if Browne, it was looked at as a kick out or anything, but they're not going to juice him ahead of Roediger. They're not. It's funny you use that term. I got so hey, Barrett, how was your heat? Oh, I got so juiced. And you're like, what does that mean? I got juiced, meaning that I made it through the heat, but I didn't deserve to, is what that means. And any one of these guys would love to get juiced as a winner, but that's not how it's going to happen. You're going to earn it, and you're going to earn it with the respect of the judges and your peers being on the same page with the decision. And I will add, for the most part, this contest has been free of controversy. I know there was a heat with Camille Jubin that people are still talking about. I'm still getting messages about it. Why? And, that's just good for us as a sport to have these kind of debates. And, the person really to ask about that is head judge Duncan Coombs. I'm not going to start talking about that in the final. But the point is, we've been free of controversy for the most part. And a big part of that reason is actually that Punta Preta in itself, all on its own, separates these competitors. Punta Preta lends itself to a certain type of riding. It's a surfing wave. So you have this mentality that you're going to be able to bring that kind of an approach to it. That's what's being emphasized here. This is wave sailing. Tomas Traversa on a plane and on a train. And there is a better one outside of it. Punta Preta has fully pulled through here. I'm astounded. Look at Tomas' wave. Look what you can do in Cabo Verde. Bottom turn under lips and fly through sections. Massive air for Traversa. He's back in the game. He's back in the game. That's all there is to it. He's back in the game. He goes through the inside. This is Antoine Martin's first hit. It's identical to other setups, except this is now a crash on a really important ride. Oh, here comes Bernd Roediger, and he kicks out. Doesn't he think he's in the lead? He might know. I'm not sure. Antoine Martin with one of those pivotal moments. And I'll say this much about that. He was using the similar approach that he's been using. Speed and arrows, but this time that arrow pointed a little too far down. And he poked Taco. Yeah, talk about the script here. Roediger, you know, he's got the 8-1, but his next highest score is a 4.5, which was that, you know, one move kick out type of, you know, that score needs to be replaced by Roediger if he's going to feel secure with Brauzinho nipping on his heels constantly here. Let's go to replay. Here's Tomas Traversa on the high line. This might have gotten him back into business because Traversa is chipping away here. He's got a 5.65 and a 6.39, which I believe this is. You know, 6.39 is starting to etch towards the very good range. Not quite the excellent range. And this might have been excellent range if he had pulled this out, the second hit here. But he got skizzled and grizzled. And now he's sitting in fourth because that high scoring opportunity just turned into a 3. Traversa sitting on a 6.39. That's his high score. Not to be ignored. Brauzinho has the distinction of his two counting waves being his first wave and his last wave. Brauzinho opened up with a 6.9. And now, after lots of mid-level 5s, he's posted what's almost a high 5. Not quite a high 5. Roediger is wholly capable of replacing a 4.56. And that's the plan as far as he's concerned, because he knows he's got this banger. And every other score's been under 3 since his... Oh, there's one. Everything's under 4. Here comes Antoine Martin. He wants to get out of 4th position. It's a back loop off the lip attempt, and why not? Why not? He can make it. It's the first time I've seen it tried in Punta Preta in a while. I know Ricardo Campello had an attempt that was so gnarly many, many moons ago on a big wave. Campello skied one. Our situation has gotten tighter. Traversa is climbing back into this thing. He's in 3rd. And that 6.39 puts him on the doorstep. The doorstep of Roediger and Browne. It's less than a point, okay? Martin's momentum meter has kind of gone a little bit neutral. He's not on that incremental climb of scores, and it doesn't look like he feels that good. You can see he's forcing stuff a little bit. Maybe he hasn't gotten his pick of waves. Maybe he's just, you know, trying not to be sailing gripped. But we do see the crowd here watching diligently. Little Grom on the soccer jersey there, cheering on. They were hoping to be cheering on Josh, and they will be in the second round. Which leads me to wonder if they're choosing Brauzinho as their main guy here. That would be possible. He was certainly getting a standing ovation when he was running from the top of the point down to the shore break. There's a little bit of work to do here. Brauzinho, I would think with a high 6, is looking at this 5.62 as like, yeah. I can do this. Roediger seems to be hanging on. His momentum has fallen off a little bit. His fireworks came early in this heat. It's not that he's lazy. It's that he knows he has to uphold a very high standard of both wave selection and riding. And so it's tight. It's really tight. A little bit of a shift in the conditions. Things kind of even pushed a little bit northy now. Antoine Martin is pumping, and he has the wave. He can definitely reset as well. Cruisier bottom turn coming up. It's all about control. He's shooting for something big here. The aerial big over the section. We love to see it. Behind him is Thomas Traversa on a beeline to an absolute nugget opportunity. This is big danger for everybody in this heat. Thomas, should he put this together, could have made a huge difference in his heat. Unfortunately, he kicks out of that. I'm a little pissed at Thomas. He was about to just go to town. Thomas. That's name of the game. You keep swinging, but man, Thomas had come back from such an ordeal there that unfortunately, you know, the little quiver shake that he did on that cutback killed that whole wave. And he was on a hooter too. And he really didn't need much. Geez, he didn't need much. Those judges looked ready to give it to him too. I can tell you that. I feel like the judges are being asked, was this enough to counter, you know, the body of work that these other two sailors above him have put together? If you ask me, Roediger is actually in a vulnerable position right now. Nobody who has an 8.19 should feel vulnerable, and maybe Roediger doesn't really feel vulnerable, so to say. But this 4.56 other score is really what is affecting this heat right now and leaving the door open. Because the door isn't only open, there is no door. Let's check Roediger and see the highest scoring wave of this heat. This is the final, and he got this wave fairly early on. A cavernous offering with cylindrical perfection and high performance riding potential written all over it. Roediger's writing a novel with this wave. Chapter after chapter. There's a table of contents, a bibliography. Wow. That was a novel. And it got him an 8.1. Wow. The localeses are excited. They see what's going on here. They're listening to Josh Angulo, who's doing the beach commentary in both Creole and English. So the dual commentators, I wanted Josh to call the final with me in the booth here, but he's busy. This has been an all-time contest. I've had so much fun calling it. Thanks again to the PWA for flying me down. I'll get my sailing in later. It's so fun to be stress-free and not do heats. I love competing. Loved it during the years I was really doing it a lot, but this is equally rewarding. I tell you, I'm friends with just about everybody here, and I feel like I'm on the guardrail at Hokipa, like these people are on the rocks just watching as a fan of the sport. And I just want you to sincerely understand that, like, I'm trying to bring you that passion from the heart here of what I'm trying to show you, my interpretations of this. I have enough experience where I feel qualified to do it, but at the same time, fire away here on the Facebook questions on the PWA if you want something specific, some sort of, insight that I'm not giving for whatever reason. I'm not going to talk about judging scores. I can certainly voice your opinion on it if you want it voiced, but the main thing is I don't give my opinion on scores. That's for the judges. Time to go to commercial. We'll be right back.
Sorari de família, então manda saldo para Cabo Verde através do Serviço de Saldo Internacional de SOMWR. Uma que pode fazer através de drink.com ou pode fazer através de mobilerecharge.com ou pode localizar pontos de venda que está disponível no país que você está.
Saldo internacional da SOMWR.
Fica ligado.
And we're back, and let's relive a few of the other rides before too much happens here. Roediger, fade line bottom turn. Runs the 360 attempt, not quite. Bottom turn, Brazinho. Look at all the angle. Control in critical places on the wave. And a lot of energy. Speed hit, slows it down. He's thinking in the back of his mind, give me a window to do my move. Here it comes. Had he stuck that, things might be looking a little differently here. Traversa. Traversing. T-tune. Boosting. Well, that was dramatic. His body of work's better than just that. But what you're seeing is the future. And he's not afraid to try these things in critical moments, in critical heats. Great players make big plays in big games. Awesome. That right there from Traversa was astounding levels, and that's the turn that he bogged. That first turn was one of the best turns I've seen from Traversa. And that needed to be backed up by something significant, and we might be looking at a flip. A lot of things have happened to preserve Roediger's lead. We're under 10 minutes now. The wind has given the look. It's 20 minutes to 5 o'clock. We're approaching golden hour. We're not quite there yet, and it's going to be the early part of it at the end of this heat. We're in kind of that late afternoon look. And that late afternoon look right now has Antoine Martin on wave number 1 of this set, and Roediger easily on one of the better waves he's been on in this final. Antoine with so much speed and a scary level. One-footed aerial. What? That was, I can't even talk. It's better that I don't. Okay, Martin just did a one-footed aerial and stomped it, and it was as big as any normal aerial. One freaking footed. Roediger tried to back that up. Everybody's looking around like, who is this guy? I cannot believe what I have just seen. Replay, por favor. These guys looking, they're like, did you really? One-footed aerial. What? Get the F out of here. And nobody needed to do something like that more than Antoine. I mean, Traversa maybe. 8 minutes to go. Scores are going to drop if they haven't already. Put them on the screen, please. Antoine's looking around like, did you see that? I saw that. He's looking for his friend's reaction. The score hasn't dropped. Or has it? 5.25. Okay. They're not going to. It was a one-move wave. Okay, I got carried away. I'm sorry. What? Oh, no. Well, okay, so it didn't put him in first place. It put him within 0.03 of Traversa. Okay, you can't over-reward something like that. And it was kind of, like Antoine does these, high-level theatrics. I've gotten super carried away before with this stuff. It's on record. I'll settle down a little bit, but not much. That was so rad. I want to see it again. Can we see the one-footed air again? One more time, please. And gets his foot back in the strap. I mean, if anybody's going to make the Superman, it's this guy. Yeah, I agree with the score. Okay, fine. And he wins the contest. It's like, no. No. Roediger's just chilling. 6.5 minutes to go. I get the feeling that Roediger isn't in the position to really dictate the lineup based on his mobility, but he has it figured out where he needs to be if a really good wave comes in, and he's not going to let that happen anymore. Roediger has carved his way into first place here for very many strong reasons. The day before the competition started, we did some free sailing together up at Coral Joule in Little Hukipa. And Bant, once I saw him at Coral Joule, he had this look on his face, which was giddy. Yes, when he was much younger, he had dreams of coming here from everything that he was seeing. But when he was actually finally out in an environment that kind of gave him a taste of what he'd been dreaming about, which Coral Joule at the time was just coming up, and basically watched it go. He pulled the best taka ever. It's on tape, and people have been looking at him since. Anyway, I'll continue that story. Yeah, Coral Joule, he made a really sick taka. This late rotation, miraculous thing. And it set the tone. I think the judges served notice about what his level of capability was. They already knew. Everybody else mixing in, that really became apparent that there are things you need to do to separate yourself in a situation where you're in a point break and people are watching and you've got to make an impression in. Antoine can do it. I mean, a number of ways. Roediger, however, has come in here now at the highest level of the sport. This is the PWA World Tour. This is the top echelon of riding there is. I say that just based on the hierarchy of ridership. There are other tours. The IWT has a very strong ridership. And I think that the ethic between the two tours is slightly different. And I think that Roediger has been looking for a chance to do exactly what he is just about to accomplish right now, is to show the rest of the world that he is one of the best windsurfers in the world. And he's 3 minutes away from winning the single elimination final of the 2022 SOMWR Cabo Verde World Cup. It's a good story. I like it. But it's not over yet. And there are people who can rewrite that last chapter of this heat. And one of them is Marcilio Brazinho Browne. And I promise you, Punta Preta has at least one more exchange for us before this is said and done. And I think it's arriving right now. Here it comes. Brazinho pumping. This is the guy who can separate it. This is the guy who can steal it from Roediger. He's on a nugget. This is a beautiful wave and a huge opportunity. Brazinho's worked hard for this. Brazinho the Destroyer punches his bottom turn, mid-face, slice cutback, brings it down to the point. Little bit of heading downtown just to get the move. He's winding up. You know what he wants to do. Nobody else is on a wave. Here comes Brazinho squeezing through the inside section. It's going to open up down low. I am jumping up and down with anticipation. Here's the floater to make the inside section. He's going to do an air to make the other section. This thing's still going to open up. Is it going to give him a chance? It's not over yet. Here he can get to the inside section. He's done with that wave. It didn't give it to him. Punta Preta decided no. There is nothing Brazinho did wrong not to get that little end section Taka attempt. Look. Punta Preta just said, you know what? Nope. You will stay in second, Browne. Oh, man. By the narrowest of margins. Let's take a look at the ride. We've got a minute left in this heat. It was a really, really well-ridden wave. All of them have been, generally speaking. There are a few earlier ones, of course, that he bobbled. Look at the board tracking. Side to side, and then make it to the inside. Brazinho trying his best to stay alive. Did he slow down too much? You know, hindsight's an interesting thing. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. That wave just didn't let him do what he wanted to. Here we go. Let's go back to live. This is almost said and done here. All right. The ticker says 30 seconds. Do I see anything on the outside? Is Roediger now playing defense just to get on the one wave that's even going to break until this is all said and done? He's pumping furiously. He wants to catch something. 15 seconds. It's looking real good for the Samurai here. He's on this wave. It's done and dusted. Roediger's going to win the first round single elimination of the 2022 SOMWR Cabo Verde World Cup. Let's have a celebration for the great Roediger. Beautiful riding for Roediger. Proud of my friend. Putting his name down in the history books of this iconic event. Roediger sails to the beach in first place. And it wasn't by much. And the wind basically has completely died. That was all she wrote for that attempt. Free sailers are frantically sailing into the lineup to get a last piece of Punta Preta. Bant's done. He's in first place and also ranked first in the world at the moment, so to speak. You won't have the final ranking till this event result is final. Why don't we catch that last Roediger victory lap, if you will? Or you want the big banger? All right, here's the 8.1. Beautiful ride. Cylindrical. Oh, man. I am proud of you. Good job. Really had this execution line there. Wanted to dissect. A lot of momentum there. Missed the Taka at the end, but that's what she wrote. There you have it. The spectators are asking amongst themselves who they thought won. Clearly, when Roediger got the applause, he knew for sure. And the scene is set for a wonderful awards presentation. This contest, by definition, is halfway over because we are now going to go into the double elimination. When I say now, I mean in the sphere of this contest. My instinct tells me we're done for the day. I don't know if Duncan's just going to launch into the double right now. We've got a body of work here that is, for the most part, complete. And we will go to commercial and come right back and wrap this up. I might possibly be able to get Vant here for a word. Stay tuned.